wanted to show people that Bitcoin is not just magic internet money. It's not an alien concept. Like, it's real money that can be used by anyone. For example, I am a Bitcoin Dada employee and I get paid in Bitcoin and I need to pay for my bills. My landlord does not accept Bitcoin, or the shop there does not accept Bitcoin. Before Tando, the only way you could be able to spend your BTC in Kenya is by going through exchanges. Like, there was no direct way unless a merchant accepted Bitcoin, and those are very rare. Being part of Bitcoin Data, we did a lot of campus educational tours, like Bitcoin education tours, where we go and teach students about BTC. And of course, they're students, so of course we tip them, as an incentive, and they'd be so happy. But again, the next question will always be, how can I spend it? So we didn't have a great answer to that, and that was a very big challenge when it came to trying to transition them on the Bitcoin standard. So we sat down and we were like, what can we do? And we brainstormed the idea and we were like, let's see if it works. So we executed it. It was just an experiment. We just wanted to see if it would work. And we did, and it worked. In like 3 months, we had an MVP, sent it out to our friends to test it, and everyone loved it. I think the big obstacle, or the biggest challenge right now, is education. Like, people are misinformed. People still don't understand what Bitcoin is. People still think Bitcoin is for particular people, like the rich people. I do believe that education is key to mass adoption. I went to the shop and they accept PayBill, so I open my app and I key in the pay bill number and the account number. You key in the amount as well, the amount that you want to spend. And then Tando will prompt you to create an invoice. After you've created the invoice, prompt you to pay the invoice, and it will automatically open any Lightning wallet that you have on your phone that you've set to default. And then that's it. You spend your BTC, we convert it for you, and the merchants on the other side, they receive cash. The whole process takes up to like 15 to 20 seconds.
Today's guest, co-founder and CEO of Tando, Sabina Gitau. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much. Hello, I am Sabina, and correction, I'm not CEO, but thank you. And yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Sabina, like he said, co-founder, Tando. I do not love titles, but I guess we have to do it. So yeah, that's me. And thank you so much for having me once again.
Tell us about Tando. What does the product do? Who is it for? And what's the main problem you're helping solve?
Okay, so Tando is a mobile app that allows anyone to spend Bitcoin anywhere in Kenya. M-pesa is accepted. Um, and the way we've done this is, the way we've been able to achieve this is by integrating the Lightning Network with existing fiat slash mobile money payments. Before Tando, the only way you could be able to spend your BTC in Kenya is by going through exchanges. Like, there was no direct way unless a merchant accepted Bitcoin, and those are very rare. So, like, for example, I am a Bitcoin Data employee and I get paid in Bitcoin and I need to pay for my bills. Of course, my landlord does not accept Bitcoin, or the shop there does not accept Bitcoin. So I had to convert that BTC to Kenyan shillings. And what does that process look like? So I have to go to an exchange, sell my Bitcoin for USD. That's step number one. And then convert that USD to Kenyan shillings, step number two. And then finally, use that Kenyan shillings in my store of choice, or like to pay my landlord, go to the shop, etc, etc. So it's 3 steps. And in all these 3 steps, transaction fees are incurred, and they're not small, by the way. And a lot of time is consumed, you know, and sometimes frustrations. Like, I've had experiences where I've sold my BTC and it's taken me hours for the money to reflect in my account. So what Hando does now is it comes in and automates this 3-step process into a one simple step process. So you get to spend your Bitcoin directly to your store of choice, or yeah, so basically it's converting your BTC to basic goods and no intermediaries. And it's very fast because we're using the Lightning Network, and it saves you time. And best part about Tando is all transactions are free. So we're saving you time, money, and energy and frustrations. And the merchants gets to receive Kenyan shillings on the other end. So business their business goes on as usual, and they don't have to change their structure or anything. And Tando is for everyone, by the way. So yeah, that's it.
Super exciting stuff. I came across a video of you making a purchase at a local village shop through Tando, and that was kind of my
Mhm.
exposure to what you're building and what you and the team at Tando are building. Can you walk us through how someone would use Tando for everyday payments?
Okay, so I'm gonna use that example. It was in my village, by the way, a very small village in Muranga. So, and I wanted to show people that Bitcoin is not just, magic internet money. It's not an alien concept. Like, it's real money that can be used by anyone. So you go to the shop, um, and the app is very simple to use. It's very intuitive. We've made it like, yeah, very simple, so that, like I said, it's for anyone, so that your mother or even your grandmother can use. It's like basically it's like using M-pesa but with BTC, because when you open the app, you have the buy goods option, you have the pay bill option, you have the send money option, and scanning the QR code. And all these options or features are available in M-pesa, right? And 98% of Kenyans use M-pesa. I don't think there's anyone in Kenya. I
Yeah,
mean, there might be, but everyone
I mean
is
most
familiar
merchants.
with M-pesa and how it works. So with Tando, it's
Yeah,
the same. So like for me in that scenario, I went to the shop and they accept pay bill. So I open my app and I key in the pay bill number and the account number. You key in the amount as well, the amount that you want to spend. And then Tando will prompt you to create an invoice. And then after you've created the invoice, prompt you to pay the invoice, and it will automatically open any Lightning wallet that you have on your phone that you've set to default. And then that's it. You spend your BTC, we convert it for you, and the merchants on the other side, they receive cash. And it's very simple. The whole process takes up to like 15 to 20 seconds. And please don't forget that it's free. So we are saving you a lot of transaction fees. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's simple like that, like very intuitive, very simple. And it was intentional because, like I said, we wanted to show people that Bitcoin is for everyone and it's very simple to use it and it's just money.
Again, I mean, I 100% agree with everything you said. Again, my exposure was that video, and you walked into a shop, and 30 seconds
Mhm.
later, your goods were paid
And it's
for,
in the
right?
village. Do
And
not forget that.
yeah, super exciting, super exciting. Now, I assume that you're non-technical and leaning more towards business side of things. Now, am I correct to assume this, number one? And number two, how did you navigate building a tech product?
How did I navigate building a tech product? I think, well, the idea, let's start with, it's a problem my teammates and I experienced. And we were like, I think we should do something. So let me actually give you a small backstory. The idea and how it was born. So we are Bitcoiners, we are Bitcoin evangelists. Like, I don't want to use the word maxi, but we are that. And we
Yeah,
try to orange pill everyone. Like, any chance we get to orange pill people who don't know about Bitcoin, we'll take it. So early last year, like, yeah, we're just going about our business at restaurants, tipping waitresses and waiters with BTC. And then the next question will always be, how can I spend this money? Like, yeah, you're telling me it's money, but how can I spend it? And honestly, we didn't have a great answer to that. And also, me being part of Bitcoin Dada, we did a lot of campus educational tours, like Bitcoin education tours, where we go and teach students about BTC and everything and its, advantages and all that. Um, and of course, they're students, so of course we tip them, as an incentive, and they'd be so happy. But again, the next question will always be, how can I spend it? So we didn't have a great answer to that, and that was a very big challenge when it came to orange peeling people, trying
Yeah.
to transition them on the Bitcoin standard. So we sat down and we were like, what can we do? And we brainstormed the idea and we were like, it's a great idea. Let's see if it works. So we executed it. It was just an experiment. It was actually not anything serious. We just wanted to see if it will work. And we did, and it worked. We in like 3 months we had an MVP, sent it out to our friends to test it, and everyone loved it. And kind of low key released it to the public, and the feedback was amazing. So yeah, we identified a problem. I'm really good at that, identifying problems and creating solutions. And I'm not a tech person, but my partner is a tech person. So he knew what to do, like how to write the code and everything, and build this amazing product. But when it came to like designing, I'm a content creator, so I'm very creative, the UI, the UX, like this is how we want the app to look like.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it basically. I don't know if that answered your question, but
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. Now, one thing that's come up over and over again is Bitcoin Dada. Now, you've spent a few months there, maybe a bit over a year now. And so,
yeah,
my question
here.
to you is: did Bitcoin Dada act as a catalyst in you building Tando? Did it influence your
Oh
decision
my
to
God,
build Tando? Did the pain points become more apparent after joining the community?
absolutely. Like I owe it to Bitcoin Data, everything like I've been able to achieve right now with Tando. Just being in that community of inspiring women, and they're very smart women there. Let's start with the CEO, Marcel. Like she's a powerhouse, and she's very active in the Bitcoin space, and she's always advocating for women empowerment through Bitcoin education. And she's changed so many lives for African women, I myself included. Like her being my mentor really pushed me and motivated me to chart my own course as well in the Bitcoin space, because I saw the impact that she's doing, like the impact Bitcoin data has on us as
Yeah.
African women. Like honestly, that's it's not a small thing, and I do not take it lightly. She's doing great, so like that really inspired me, and just being in a community of women doing amazing things, because in that community we have a woman. Her name is Rosaline. She has started her own Bitcoin project. It's called Beat Biashara, onboarding businesses. We have Angela from Uganda who started School of Satoshi. We have who else? Sarah Nutritives. Oh my God, she's like my role model when it comes to business. She's a great businesswoman, and she accepts Bitcoin for her payments, which has opened global customers, like international customers, for her. So, just being surrounded by these women who are doing great things in the Bitcoin space, and they're changing lives and impacting people, I was like, you know what? I can do that too. And I want to do it too, because one thing in the Bitcoin space is women are underrepresented, and we want to see more women participate so that even the coming generations can be inspired, right? So, yes, I owe it to Bitcoin Dada. Like, yeah, I'm just so grateful, because that's where I learned everything about Bitcoin, and I've learned a lot just being there. And thank you so much, Marcel, and to my BTC datas. I love you all, and let's keep building and pushing boundaries.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I want to touch on community a little bit. I'm curious, how do you go about keeping a community slash audience engaged over time?
Is it, or do you mean in terms of BTC data or Tando? Because
Yeah, yeah. Just as an example, if for the founder that's listening who's thinking, maybe I want to grow community around my product or around my company, how should they go about one, building an actual community, and two, keeping the community engaged?
I think the why is very important. Like, why are you doing this? And who are you doing it for? You can start there, and then make yourself like relate to people, meet them where they are. Learn to understand them. Put yourself in their shoes and be like, is this something I would, sign up for? Does this help me as well? If I'm not the founder, like does it still apply in my life? And yeah, that's it. Just being relatable to people, be fun, do not be, I don't believe in just being like all serious. I like relating to people, yeah, and meeting them where they are. I think that's the most important thing, meeting them where they are.
I'm curious, what do you see as the most significant obstacle to using Bitcoin for everyday purchases in Africa currently?
The most significant, I think the big obstacle or the biggest challenge right now is education. Like people are misinformed. People still don't understand what Bitcoin is. People still think Bitcoin is for particular people, like the rich people. Some
Yeah.
people still think it's, magic internet money, and that has no real value. So the biggest challenge right now is education, and that is why I'm pro. Like I love and I advocate for Bitcoin educators like Bitcoin Dada. We have the core as well here in Kenya, Bitcoin School Kenya. There's so many projects happening in Africa that cater for Bitcoin education, because I do believe that education is key to mass adoption. And once people truly understand like the characteristics of Bitcoin or the advantages that it offers them, then it will be very easy to transition to on a Bitcoin standard.
Yeah, yeah. You've talked about mass adoption. I want to dig deeper into that. Now, what does maturity of Bitcoin or what does maturity of the Bitcoin space look like to you? Is it just widespread use, or does it involve more complex factors like, building trust or, as you said, mass user education? So what does crypto maturity look like for you, or Bitcoin maturity?
Definitely widespread adoption. I want to walk in CBD and see, you see the way you walk and like, you're greeted with M-pesa accepted here signs and all that and all that. I want to walk in CBD and I see Bitcoin accepted signs here. Like everywhere I go, I have that option to pay. So definitely widespread adoption. But of course, we need to build, trust. And how do we do this? I feel like if we prove to people that Bitcoin is money, like what we are doing at Tando, we are making it easy for people to spend BTC. And by doing this, we are proving to them that, yeah, Bitcoin is actually money that you can use to, get your daily, buy your goods and services. And that's it. If you prove to people that it's money that they can use in their day to day lives and it's simple, that's how we build trust. So definitely more tools like Tando, and again, education. I think education plays a very huge role in this. But maturity also means freedom. I want to see more people free. Like I do believe that most people in life right now, we're just surviving and not truly living, you know. And this is because we have to keep up with the fiat treadmill because of inflation. So people, the only thing that they think about is how do I make my next paycheck? Because, the bills are piling up, life is getting expensive, but their salaries are not increasing. And this is because of inflation. So they don't have time to truly live. They don't have that freedom. But I believe Bitcoin presents a chance for us to be free because it preserves your value and your energy and your time. And now you have like more freedom to do whatever you want, more freedom to spend with your family, go in the park, enjoy like a quiet day and all that. So maturity to me also really means like people being free from the fiat system and the fiat slavery.
Speaking of maturity and mass adoption, any plans to expand beyond M-pesa, maybe into other mobile money platforms?
Yeah, definitely. Like that's that's the long term goal. We want to definitely expand in, other African countries that have and integrate with their mobile money structures, like Momo or what is this
Yeah.
other one called? I forget, but you understand.
Is it,
Definitely that's
yeah.
our like one of our biggest goal. But right now our primary goal is to be the best Bitcoin spending app in Kenya, make it easy for people to use BTC, build robust structures in place, and then we can take off from there.
One of the biggest criticisms of Bitcoin is its volatility. So, how are you mitigating that risk when it comes to everyday transactions on Tando?
Oh, volatility. I don't even like talking about it. Like if you're a Bitcoiner like me, then you know volatility does not exist. One Bitcoin is equals to one Bitcoin. But I understand people, I mean people like
For
when you
us
measure
normal folks.
okay. So yeah, volatility happens when you measure Bitcoin against the dollar. That's when volatility happens. But if you're like me, one BTC is one BTC. But anyway, to answer your question, I saw a cool tweet the other day, and it was like Bitcoin volatility is a feature, not a bug. And I was like, huh, that's cool.
Hmm.
But anyway, I feel like the volatility gives Bitcoin it shows that like Bitcoin is reliable and it has liquidity. That's the first point. And then what most people fail to see is we are dealing with volatility every day. Like our fiat currencies are volatile. And that's what most people don't know. Let me give you an example. Last week, the Zimbabwean local currency, the ZIM, guess what? It's devalued by 44% overnight. Isn't that being volatile?
Oh wow.
It
Yeah,
is.
fair
So
point. Yeah,
imagine,
it is.
yeah, so imagine someone who had their savings in the ZIM or they had held the ZIM. They woke up 44% poor overnight. And the government acts like in nothing. Life goes on. They're not going to be compensated. And I think that's very unfair and it should be categorized as crime against humanity, to be honest, because like, why are you doing that to people? So what people fail to see is every day we are dealing with volatile fiat currencies, even the Kenyan shillings. Inflation is constant. It's always happening. So we are already dealing with that. So I don't. So then why is it an issue? But anyway, with Tando, what we are doing is we are encouraging Bitcoin spending, right? And by doing this, we are driving adoption. You know, the more people spend BTC, the more value it gets, the more desirable it becomes to people, and the more we'll see people adopt it. So it's like demand supply kind of thing. So
Yeah.
with widespread, acceptance by people, we'll start to see the price fluctuation settle down. Okay. But if you
Yeah.
are to ask me, my honest opinion is Bitcoin volatility should be the least of your concern. The question you should be asking yourself is, do I have enough Bitcoin? Do you have enough Bitcoin? And focus on accumulating a growing asset like for the long term, because Bitcoin it's growing, it grows every day, rather than focusing on short term, price fluctuation. So work on, accumulating Bitcoin, stack, if you can, or if you're in a position to.
You mentioned something that was pretty exciting, and I think it's kind of on topic with the stacking as you're calling it, which is that you are paid your salary in Bitcoin. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my
and
God. And
so, question
sorry.
to you:
Yeah.
do you ever touch fiat money?
Oh, that's a good question. So before Tando, I had to, like I told you, my earlier example, the three-step process of converting Bitcoin to
Yeah,
Kenyan shilling. I had to, right? I was forced to because my landlord does not accept BTC. My small shop here at home, they don't accept BTC. But now with Tando, I don't have to. Like, it's just me and my Bitcoin, and I'm living my best life. I don't interact with fiat currencies, and life is good. And I'm so lucky, honestly. I'm so grateful to Satoshi, and I'm so grateful for Tando and what we've built. Like, I'm very proud, by the way. Game changer.
I mean, as an avid M-pesa user, I mean, one being Kenyan, and then two, naturally using M-pesa day to day. I think one thing that we kind of are always mad about are the transaction fees on the platform, right? And as you've mentioned and you've reiterated multiple times, Tando is completely free. So, what kind of feedback have you received from users on this?
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone loves it. Oh my God, everyone loves it. Everyone is happy. I saw a comment on TikTok because our video went viral. The one you saw, the village one, it went
Yeah,
viral on TikTok.
yeah.
So
Oh
everyone is
wow, good
like, oh
stuff.
my God. Yeah, I'm selling my hamster coins for BTC and then I can enjoy these. Like everyone wants to, transition. And that's
Yeah.
like an incentive if you think of it, in a way. We are incentivizing people to hop onto the Bitcoin standard. Because
Bitcoin.
I came
Yeah.
across a video. Actually, someone shared this video where someone sat down and calculated how much money they spend monthly on transactions. It was 10,000 last week. Not last week. A few months ago, at the
M-pesa
Bitcoin Dada.
transactions?
Yeah,
Wait,
transaction
hold
fee.
hold on. 10,000 shillings.
10,000 shillings on transaction fee in a month. They sat
That's
down
insane.
and the
Mm.
messages were there, like they were, calculating on it, like the M-pesa transaction, the bank,
Yeah.
swiping the card and all that. And even at the Dada graduation, the last Bitcoin Dada graduation, someone approached me and they told me, like, I also sat down and did my calculation and I spent like roughly around 6,000 Kenyan shillings per month on transaction fees. So just imagine how much money we are saving you at Tando. Like, and how much
Yeah.
and what you can do with that money. So actually what I would encourage people is you see that transaction fee money we are saving you, buy Bitcoin with that one, accumulate your wealth with that one. So
Mm.
yes, the feedback has been positive. Everyone loves it. Everyone is selling their coins for BTC, which we love to see because we want to give Bitcoin more utility, of course.
Yeah, yeah. I think anything that either puts money in people's pockets or keeps it there receives great market adoption.
True.
Um, I was scrolling on your Twitter and you retweeted Magate Wade's comment on Africa being resource rich but outcome poor. Do you think Bitcoin can play a role in kind of shifting this dynamic?
Absolutely. That's a no-brainer. I think everyone knows that Africa is the richest continent in terms of resources. That's why I'm not gonna say who they are always here and they want to, like, yeah, we're like slaves to them and they want to take everything good we have. But I do see Bitcoin helping here in that. Oh, anyway, let's take this back. The challenges are the reason as to why we don't fully benefit from these resources is because we have challenges like corruption, right? Like African leaders and corruption, African governments and corruption, friends,
Yeah, hand in
corruption,
hand.
poor payment systems, the payment rails, inflation, like our local currencies are devaluing every day, and limited access or like lack of access to financial services and tools, especially to the unbanked population of Africa. So how can Bitcoin help here? First of all, Bitcoin offers like better payment systems, like because it's borderless, it's permissionless, it's decentralized. So it's like it eliminates all that parties and now it provides like these peer-to-peer systems where African countries can trade with each other. Also, let's not forget that in Africa we have 46 currencies and there's a lot of friction among them when trading. So Bitcoin here, presents an opportunity or a chance, like the peer-to-peer system, basically to make payments, cross-border payments and remittances faster.
Yeah,
Um, and also, Bitcoin is inclusive, so it's gonna bring financial inclusion to everyone, and then like we can have everyone participate in the global economy either through saving, investing, transacting, you name it. And of course, inflation. Bitcoin acts as a hedge against inflation
yeah.
for Africans who have devaluing currencies every day. And I think what we are trying to do with Tando is we are showing people how life on a Bitcoin standard, basically how like life would look like if you spend Bitcoin every day or if you guys are surviving on BTC. And
Yeah.
through this spending, we are driving adoption, definitely, and we are positioning Africans, Kenyans, to be like leaders in this new space. So, and we're still very early on in the Bitcoin space. So it's time for us to, you know, join the train, build and create solutions or opportunities that are going to help Africa thrive and are going to take us to the next step.
I'm very curious as personally, I'm a founder currently building in finance in the credit space, building at the
Congratulations.
intersection. Yeah, building at the intersection of healthcare and finance. And one of the biggest headaches building this space is regulation, right? And so, from your perspective, or from where you play, from where Tando stands, what does regulation look like?
Oh, regulation. So currently in Kenya, because you're also building, we don't have any clear rules on what we should do, especially with
Yeah,
Bitcoin. So there's not a rule. We don't have a rule that says you're not supposed to use Bitcoin this way or you're not supposed to use Bitcoin this way. So we're just there. We decided we're going to take this opportunity since there are no rules. We can as well take advantage of it in the meantime before they decide, you know.
yeah,
But definitely, I, I'm very curious to see how that plays out. Bitcoin being a decentralized asset, I'm
yeah,
so curious to see how they'll do it. But that being said, I do believe that this is a fact actually. Innovation always moves faster than regulation ever can.
yeah,
Like technology does not wait for anyone. And if if regulators will always be behind when it comes to new technology, they'll always be left behind. Otherwise, they'll be the developers, they'll be building here.
yeah,
So we just have to keep doing our thing and they'll catch up later because I was actually reading somewhere, even when M-pesa started, there were no regulation in place for like years. They were just doing their
yeah.
thing and then the regulators came and said, this is what we want and this is what we do. So we're just taking advantage of the moment, doing what we can, and then they'll catch up on later and we'll try to do whatever they say they want us to do. But yeah.
Do you ever have regulation at the back of your head? Like, oh shit, what if they do decide? Because I mean, we have seen African governments not be too pro
Yeah.
crypto. I mean, Nigeria for one. And so does that linger in your mind? Are you ever like, fuck?
Yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it does. And I hate it. But at the same time, I'm a big believer in the universe. We are doing something great for the people. We are doing something that, it's going to change lives. And it's a great cause for greater good. And I know the universe has our back and everything is going to work out together for our greater good. That I believe. That's my belief. So also I tell myself, but I like to believe in that. I was gonna say, from yesterday, I was walking. There are these sidewalks near where I live, and they had cabros. You know the cabro, the floor things. They're called
Yeah.
cabros. So this sidewalk was installed a few months ago, and now yesterday I noticed like grass has started growing back. So nature like is just taking over, and I feel like that's Bitcoin. They might try to stop it, but I don't think they'll ever be able to fully stop it. It will always rise like the nature over the cabros.
That's a very interesting outlook.
Yeah.
Um, I want to talk about the Bitcoin startup space. Now
Hmm.
we all saw the hype and the FOMO and the kind of subsequent cooling off of the Web3 Bitcoin startup funding space between 2018 and 2021, right? So there was FOMO, millions of dollars were invested, and then things kind of gradually cooled off. What advice do you have for founders who are still building in this space today, given the funding downturn?
Hey, that's an interesting question that I've never thought about. I don't know if this is good to say on the pod, but I really don't have experience with funding.
Yeah,
That's more of like
is it
my
is it?
past.
Are you thinking about it? Is that a potential path for Tando?
Um, yeah, definitely. But in the Bitcoin space, we have. So let me talk about the Bitcoin space. Like I said, I'm very conversant with the space. So in the
Yeah,
Bitcoin space, we have something, the concept proof of work, right? You know it, the
yeah.
proof of work. So as long as you're doing your thing, people will see your work and they will award you for that. Like there are grants, the HRF, the Human Rights Foundation, they support a lot of African Bitcoin projects as long as, they see you're putting in real work and your product is doing, like it's an impactful product. So we have those grants. We have companies, I forget the name, but like they fund Bitcoin projects. And as long as you can you can prove to them that yeah, this product is like life changing. It's like they need to see it, and I feel like Tando, it's so easy to see the impact we have.
Yeah.
Um, and that's honestly, I never even think about that a lot because I believe like our work speaks for ourselves and the grants are just going to come or the funding is just going to come. Because it's the same thing with Dada. We just do our thing there and someone recognizes our great work and they bring it in. I don't know if that's a really great
Hmm.
answer, but
No,
proof
it
of
definitely
work.
makes. I think it's opened my eyes into how funding works. It sounds very in the crypto space or rather in the Bitcoin space. It sounds very community led. Like you've mentioned, people kind of like realize what you're doing. They come across your work and they decide we're going to support this or we're going to be behind this. So that's
Yeah.
super interesting.
Um, in in the space, in the Bitcoin space, like I said, it's your proof of work speaks for yourself, you know. As long
Mm,
as you can prove that you're adding real value to people's lives and you're solving a real problem, then
yeah,
Bitcoiners are very generous. I'm so grateful to be in this space. You know, they'll support you in any way that they can. And yeah, and there's
yeah.
also what is it called? The Gazer funding. So it's for
Hmm.
Bitcoin projects. You post your project there. People come
I think I
and
saw that
donate.
on Twitter, on your
Ah,
Twitter.
so that's the my experience with funding. It's yeah,
Okay.
you
Uh
post
huh.
your project, post everything, links to everything, and how it's impactful, how it's changing people's lives. And people just come there. Bitcoiners will come to your Gazer fan page, read the project, and they're like, "Wow, I really love this project. I love what Sabina and team is doing. Let me um, let me give them like a few sats because that's how we actually started. That's how we got the initial capital to help us,
Yeah.
build what we've been able to build right now. So yeah, proof of work at the end of the day. It's a
Super
very
interesting. Super interesting.
transparent, open system.
Yeah, yeah. I think what I like the most from how you've described it is it's not you don't have to knock on doors and enter specific rooms to get hard or to get your work out there. It's very out in the public and people
Mhm.
actually on the lookout for new projects. So that's exciting.
Exactly. And that's why I feel like more people should build on Bitcoin,
Yeah.
just because your work speaks for itself. And if you're really, really, really good and you have an amazing idea, you have an amazing project, and you're solving a real problem, then it will be easy to get funding.
Now, many Africans have been underserved by traditional financial services. And so how is Tando working to earn the trust of these communities in adopting Bitcoin?
Great question. So, trust is simply earned by proof of spend, a Tando. So it's a concept we came up with. Proof of spend is when you can prove to people that this is real money. Like you can walk inside the supermarket and walk out with milk or bread. Then yeah, Tando has worked for you, and that's how we earn your trust. By proving to people that Bitcoin is not just magic internet money, that it is real money that they can spend it in their day to day lives, then that's how we are building trust. Showing them that it's very simple, this is how you use it. And the more they use it, the more trust they have in it, and the more they incorporate it in their day to day lives. It's simple as that.
Yeah. Now, there might be some sort of disconnect between the younger generation and the older generation when it comes to, digital currencies, etc. And so I'm kind of curious. One, are the people in your life, so your family, are they on board? Number one, and number two, how do you go about that?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Actually, one of the reasons as to why I was inspired to build Tando, it's also because of my family. Because when I graduated from Bitcoin Data, I was so happy. I have this new knowledge and I know all these cool new things about this new monetary system. And I want my family to be on it too, right? I don't want to leave anyone behind. So we'd go to family gatherings and I would stand and talk to people, talk to my uncles, talk to my aunties. And they're like, they would just look at me like, look at this one, another scammer. And honestly, that used to hurt my
Yeah.
feelings. That used to hurt my feelings so much. I would give them sats. Like I gave away a lot of sats, this Satoshis, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I used to give them a lot of sats just to prove to them that it is money. And again, their question would be like, if it's money, show me how I can go to that shop and use it to buy milk and bread. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. I was so like it was so frustrating, and that is one of my biggest motivation to building Tando. So now here we have. They never used to believe me then, but now they do, because when Tando started, when we had our MVP ready to go, like they were among the first people I shared it with. My
Yeah.
mom and dad, to be specific. My brother and sister are already in it. My sister is actually a graduate from Bitcoin Dada. My brother also has a Bitcoin course, and they're Bitcoiners too. So, but it was just my dad
Yeah.
and mom and my uncles and aunties. But now with Tando, you remember I had gifted them a few sats like years ago. So now
Yeah.
we went over. I went there and I showed them, like, you remember that money I gifted you? Here's how you can spend it. And it was very easy. They're like, this is like M-pesa. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. So it's
And
been
it's
with
free.
Tando. Yeah, Tando has, and it's free. Oh my God, because my mom and dad, my family is Kikuyu. I'm Kikuyu.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
know how
Get
we
you.
love to, save money and all that.
Yeah.
Free, free. Wow. Okay. So right now with Tando, it's very easy for me to orange peel my family. And now they're starting to get it, especially because of, the current events unfolding in the country, the
Yeah.
misappropriation of funds. And I don't even want to talk about that. But yeah, Tando has definitely made it easy for me to orange peel my family and my friends. And now they don't think I'm that crazy. So yeah.
Super interesting stuff. I mean, I feel like that alone is an achievement
It
in
is. Oh my
itself.
God, I'm so proud. Actually, I'm very proud of myself. Now that I've said it out loud to someone, like, yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
grateful.
Speaking
Yes.
of transactions, right now it seems like Tando is mainly used for smaller transactions, right? So I've seen people buy coffee through Tando. I've seen people shop for groceries through Tando. Are you seeing any trends or signals that users are starting or want to make bigger purchases through Tando?
Um, yeah, we've had people who've there was a guy, Jasper. Shout out to Jasper, by the way. He's from Kisi. Jasper and his brother, they run these communities called Bitcoin Chama. So there was a day they paid rent. Jasper was taking his brother back to school, and they paid rent using Tando, which was really cool. We've also had a case of remittances, by the way. We had one of our friends send money, a large portion of money from the Netherlands to Kenya, and another one from Nigeria to Kenya. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, we are seeing that trend where people are now like we built that trust now, and they're increasing their transaction amount to larger transactions. And that is why we actually increased the limit, because people demanded for it, and we listened to the people, we gave them what they want, and everyone is happy. And yeah,
What is
it's
the
good.
before and after? What were the limits before and after?
Oh, so before it was just from, I think, 100 shillings to 10,000 shillings, and now it's 30 shillings to 50,000 shillings. And we are working on, of course, the more we grow, the more we put robust systems in place, we are gonna keep increasing the transaction. We are still figuring out a few things here and there, especially the liquidity aspect of things, but trust us, we are working on it. We want to make life very easy for you and smooth, and we want you to enjoy life.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of I asked you this before, but I think I want to dig deeper, a bit deeper into it, and that's the from your viewpoint. You've mentioned a few things, but I really want us to hone in on why you're building Tando and your mission behind this. And it's again, why do you think it's more of a necessity than a nice to have in Africa specifically?
So that's a no-brainer for everyone, you know, who knows the current state of Africa with the inflation, the financial inclusion aspect of it. Like, we have underbanked populations. We have like one of the highest percentage of underbanked population in Kenya, and also remittances, because
Yeah,
Africa has like the highest percentage of remittances, being coming in, because we have a lot of people who go to look for greener pastures, and now they want to send money back to their families here in Kenya. So how I see why Bitcoin is a necessity here. Let's start with the inflation. Bitcoin acts as a hedge against inflation, you know, to Africans, because our local currencies, like now the Zimbabwean example I gave you, the currencies are depreciating every day. So if you have your little savings in BTC, I think that would be a great way to preserve your energy and your time and the value that you've worked so hard for. Um, and I'm not saying that Bitcoin will stop inflation overnight. No, it's a process. Like I said, we are still early adoption, and the focus is educating people right now. So, but we are getting there. Right now in Africa, we have 122 Bitcoin projects in 19 African countries. I don't know if you know that. So
I
there's this
didn't.
community, it's called African Bitcoiners, and every quarter of the year they put out a map that highlights the Bitcoin African ecosystem. So they just did their Q4 map a few days ago, and right now we are at 122 projects promoting education. We have tools like Tando, we have Gridless, which is mining, we have Beat Circle, Beat Chama. We have circular economies like Bitcoin Ekasi in South Africa. Like a lot is happening in the space, especially this year. We've seen a lot of, growth. And I feel it feels like we're just setting the foundation this year. And from next year, it's to the moon. It's to the moon, by the way. And so, yes, a lot is happening. It's not gonna be an overnight success. It's at the end of the day, we say it's a marathon, not a sprint. So
Yeah.
yeah, Bitcoin acts as a hedge against inflation for Africans with their, currencies. And then the issue of financial inclusion. Like I said, we have the highest number of unbanked population here in Kenya. But thankfully, Bitcoin is inclusive and Bitcoin is for everyone, and nobody is going to stop you from participating in the network. Bitcoin does not care about your background, about your job, about your income. Like they don't need any documents from you. Just come as you are. And I know people say that the only way you can spend Bitcoin is over the internet. You need to have an internet access or a smartphone, but that is truly false. We have innovations like Machankura, which allow people to send and receive their BTC without internet access through a banner form, like Kabambe. Yes, it's
Oh
possible.
wow.
And that is one of my favorite innovations in Africa. Like, oh my God, I love that project so much. It's by a guy, his name is Kogatso from South Africa. You know, when Bitcoin came, like everyone was happy, it's open, it's fair, it's for everyone. But Kogatso like sat and he was like, my people from the rural areas are still excluded. So what can we do to also make them feel included? So he set out to build Machankura, which is like the greatest innovation. Honestly, it's a great innovation. So yeah, with Machankura, your grandma and your grandpa in the village, they can also participate in the network and send, receive Bitcoin and be happy and free. So we are seeing, like I said, there's a lot happening in the African scenes. And there's this guy, his name is Femi Longe from the HRF. He says Africans should build African solutions for African problems because we are the only ones who understand our problems than
Yeah.
anybody else. So that being said, shout out to all the African projects building on Bitcoin. We are doing great, and it's a great time to be alive and build. And also, one last point is the remittances. Bitcoin makes remittances transfer very easy. Case in point, Tando, like I told you, there was a guy who sent money from the Netherlands to
Yeah.
Kenya and eliminated all middlemen, and the transactions were free. So like
And no fees.
save
Yeah.
money, exactly, save money, no middlemen, no frustration. Like there's no questions like who are you sending this money to, who are they to you, because someone has sent me money over Western Union, and it's such a hassle. Like it's
Yeah.
my money and it's that person's money, so why do you need to know all these details? Like I need, like,
Yeah.
give. So yeah, Bitcoin gives us the freedom and the independence to transact. And yeah, I love freedom, and yeah, Bitcoin brings us freedom, and that's why I advocate for it, and that's why I think it's a necessity and not just a tech for Africa.
I want you to call your shot right now. Where do you see Tando in the next 2 years?
Ooh, the sky is the limit. The possibilities are endless. Sometimes I think about it, and I'm like, is this is too good to be true? But then again, nothing is too good to be true. Okay. Um, I see Tando in like 2 years. Hopefully, would have expanded into other African countries. The goal at Tando is to bring financial freedom to every individual, especially here in Africa. We want people to experience the freedom that comes with using Bitcoin. And it's not even just about money, by the way. Bitcoin is a lot of things. It's connected to a lot of things in life. And that's the freedom we want a lot of people to experience. So I see us, we've expanded into a few African countries. The network is growing. People are learning more about Bitcoin. People understand with the help of, our education, our educators. We are going to see more people transitioning towards the Bitcoin standard. And also the Bitcoin incentives, they are very, I don't know, like the best. They're so fair and transparent and open. And anyone would be a fool not to crossover. But yeah, that's how I see success. But we have this joke. We joke with the team that the goal for us though is to go out of business at Tando. Do you know why?
Why is
Do you
that?
know why? Because if we go out of business, that means that all merchants are accepting Bitcoin. Like everyone is spending Bitcoin and merchants are accepting
No,
Bitcoin. So we don't need Tando
there
because
is no
Tando
need
comes.
for Tando.
Yes, Tando comes in at the merchant side. It's the double market conundrum. So yeah, honestly, that is also like a vision. I that would mean everything to us because then yeah, that's it. Everyone is on Bitcoin standard. We are living happy. We don't need third parties. We don't need all these central authorities, and life is good and fair and like it was meant to be. So yes.
Sabina, this has been an amazing conversation. It's been exciting to see Africa's potential through your perspective. One last question. Where can listeners find you online if they want to learn more or reach out?
My Twitter. My Twitter is Waithira, Waithiraah. I think you're gonna include it somewhere, but
Yeah, it's going
also
to be in the description.
LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn as well. I'm Sabina Gitau, and we can connect there. And my email is
Yeah.
sabina@tando.me. So yeah, please do check out Tando, download the app, enjoy freedom. You know, do I get to say a parting shot? Do I get to tell them a parting
Yeah,
shot?
go ahead.
Okay, so my parting shot would be I want people, Africans, this is for you. Please, let's learn how to question things. Like, that has been my biggest lesson the few years
Mm,
I've been in the Bitcoin space. I've learned how to question things. Don't just buy things because they're being sold to us by whoever. Even in your life, in your personal life, learn to question things. I think that's one thing most Africans are not good at, questioning
yeah.
things. You'll get a lot of answers and you'll understand how life is supposed to work and it's not what they sell us. Life, there's more to life. So learn to question things. Stay curious, by the way, please stay curious. Never stop learning. Learning never ends. And be open-minded. Like I said, innovation waits for no one. So what are you going to do? Are you gonna sit there? It's like, in the past when our grandpas were grabbing land, right? There's that meme where, oh,
Uh-huh.
50 years ago, instead of my grandpa grabbing land, he was somewhere in the club clubbing, and now we are poor, like we don't have generational wealth.
Yeah.
Now that land is now Bitcoin is the new land. So what do you want your generation to say? Oh, like our grandma, our grandpa was just chilling and just wasting time instead of buying BTC. Like right now we are getting Bitcoin at a discount. So please, what are you going to do about it? Just try it out. There's no harm, So yes, question things, never stop planning, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. And let's keep pushing boundaries for what Bitcoin can do for us, our society, our country, and the whole world. Sorry. The sky is the limit and freedom is here and we have to take it. We have the perfect tool right now that Satoshi gifted us. So let's take matter into our own hands. And that's it. I feel like I talk too much, but I liked it.
Thanks again for coming on, Sabina.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.